If you know Lynix, he's a Minecraft YouTuber. Well, someone in his family has cancer, and I'm gonna be reaction to the video, and the description is gonna be copy and pasted from that exact same description, just to let you know. So let's get started.
Okay, so a while back, I made a video called Cancer. And in that video, I let everybody know that my little brother Jack was diagnosed with rhabdomyosarcoma and he was unable to get the surgery because of the location. It was on his mandible cheek area, which is like right around here. So it's like right next to some obviously vital parts, his eye, jaw area, and everything, But before his official diagnosis, we took the family to Disneyland. And at the time, not knowing what to expect, we heard back from the doctors while there that it was, in fact, cancer, which is what we had somewhat expected. And the doctors had let him know to kind of expect. And he would immediately start treatment upon arriving home, getting not only chemo, but radiation as well, where they would put him on a table with a entire cast. Like, it looks like concrete. It's not, but it looks like it. Covering no nose holes, no nothing, just these tiny itty bitty little holes all around that most people have panic attacks with it on. It's very hard to stand still or sit. You have to lay down and sit still while they're doing radiation with this giant machine that he's getting right next to a very essential part of him. And he had to sit still through that Monday through Friday for almost 2 months, which is extremely hard. All the while, he was still getting chemo at the same exact time for 67 weeks. He gave me permission to do that. This time was incredibly hard for our entire family. Most importantly, Jack. He's a tank. I would keep saying that to him because he would go through radiation every day and then chemo, and he would call me with a smile on his face. And most days he'd be needed to be woken up with medication at the most inconvenient hours, 3 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., or if he fell asleep midday, they'd wake him up after 2 hours, or if he's in the hospital, they'd wake him up, all sorts of different medications. He said at one point that he didn't even know what medication he was taking. Like, he would just trust that my mom or dad or whoever was just giving him the right stuff. But at the same time, he also knew every little detail because he takes his health very serious. Halfway through treatment, Jack got pneumonia and walking pneumonia, which for anyone who has dealt with cancer or has a family member that's dealt with cancer, you know how hard it is to fight off any sort of infection. With chemo, I think it's white blood cells, don't correct, it's his ANC, they would go down, and it's very hard to fight off infections. And he had this infection, pneumonia, walking pneumonia, for 3 months through January, February, and March. So this left the doctors very, very confused as to why he was so consistently sick. He spent a lot of time in bed, and it was very hard. In the midst of all this, a lung nodule had shown up, and they did a scan. They do scans every once in a while to kind of just keep updated with how he's doing, his health. The cancer itself, they would do scans to make sure that they were making some progress with chemo and with radiation and whatnot. And they found a nodule in his chest, in his lung, and it had scattered dust looking dots related to the nodule and near the nodule, which the doctor's worst fear was the cancer spreading to his lungs, which unfortunately for most people who have heard that, it's never a good sign. This is worst case scenario. So they took it very, very serious. They wanted to make sure that it wasn't spreading or doing anything. So they watched it consistently over the next couple of months for growth changes or metastasis. I might have messed that up, but you guys, for those of you who know, it's just basically the cancer spreading. Then after a couple of months of monitoring it, they decided to take it out. They decided that it wasn't changing at all and that it was just better to get it out while it was still relatively small, which they performed a wedge resection. And the surgery was an hour and a half long to remove the nodule entirely. They had to deflate his lung to then remove it. And all the while, as this is all going on, my parents, and especially my mom, who's very particular and does things very efficiently, she was like a full hands-on caregiver for him. If he needed to grab something, if chemo was too much for him at the time, she would grab it for him. Like I don't know how many phone calls, but I'm sure they have like 400,000 phone calls of them checking up on each other, basically. Or he needs something, or texts, or whatever it is. She was always there, waking him up at 3 a.m. to give him his medicine, or 5 a.m. She had alarms. She had like, it was crazy. She had a chest that was iced full of his different medications and stuff, kept it mega organized, updated everyone on how Jack was doing, what the next steps were, writing down. It's crazy. She's crazy, like in the best way. Like she was very, and keep in mind, she's doing all of this. She's being a superhero while still working a full-time job from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Like every morning she would wake up early, like 2 hours earlier to take care of Jack, and then would work. And then after, she would take Jack to his appointments all day, or she would take off work and then work doubles other days that Jack didn't have appointments to catch up. She's a superhero. And so is Jack. Jack's both of them. Everybody. Yeah. These times especially were really rough. And to make matters worse, my parents lost a job. Without the donations from the GoFundMe, it would have been practically impossible for Jack to go through the treatment, to get proper treatment, to take care of him, get him specific foods and stuff, anything for him and his comfortability. Everybody's donations and stuff, it helped so incredibly much for my mom and for my dad, for Jack, for our entire family. I do as much as I possibly can, trying to run my own business and whatnot, but I can only do and give so much to where I was stretching thin my capabilities as well. So I wanted to thank all of you who donated and helped my family in such a delicate time, who donated to this. And it seriously means the world. The treatment, the specialist visits, the medicines, all of these costs will be, all of that money was used towards it. And if you guys know cancer, you know how expensive it can be. And it goes a long way. There's still expenses that my parents will continue to pay because of how incredibly expensive the U.S. Medical area is, especially for big treatments like this. And so to kind of circle back, after getting the nodule out of his lung, they reinflated his lung, brought him back. He had battle scars from it. For those of you who don't know, he has a port where his chemo radiation, or sorry, his chemo, just his chemo, would go through, and it would be going throughout his body that he would receive the chemo in. And that's everything that I'm able to kind of give you. That's the
So why I mentioned this, well, I wanted to help get attention. And because Lynx is one of my favorite YouTubers. Mainly, I don't know what to do, so I'll put in the description the entire description of the video and the links. My my Discord in the description and his friend's Discord in the description because I don't think he has one. That's it for now.